Hello and welcome to another episode of Superpowers. Thank you for being here with us today. And today I've got a great guest. I'm really excited to have her. I have Barbara Goldsmith with me. And so we will get to Barbara in just a second. I have a couple little housekeeping things I want to just take care of real quick. Just wanted to remind everyone that we have still got our Ions VODs on sale. And they are on sale for 50% off, and that is a great price on those. And the conference was wonderful, and the speakers were amazing. And we had we had Anita Morjani there, and we had Suzanne Giesemann there, we had Alan Huguenot, and the different levels that are covered in a conference like that are amazing. So that's available, 50% off on those until September 15th. And then I guess I just should remind everyone that we do too have other videos and things on streamingforthesoul.com. And if you wanted to go and check that out on streamingforthesoul.com. You could do that, and the way you do that is go to streamingforthesoul.com and just sign in, and you'll have a link in the menu bar, and it says Browse VODs, and then you can click on that and check out all our different VODs that we've got there in the library. And we've got lots of stuff. I mean, of course, we have the Ion stuff, but we've got some Conscious Life Expo VODs. We've got energy workers. We've got healers. We've got amazing music. We got Kristen Hoffman. We've got a video that we shot live of her down in Sedona. It's amazing, beautiful music. Lots of things. We've also got all the Superpowers are there too, if you want to go and check those out. So go ahead and go to streamingforthesoul.com and just sign in and check out the VODs. And if you don't have a login yet, you can just click on the sign in button, and you'll see in the drop down menu there will be a place where you can create a login. So you just put in your first name and your email address, and you'll get an email with login credentials, and then you can go and check out the VOD library. So now I want to jump right to Barbara Goldsmith, who is wonderful, and she's got a great story. And this is, she's got her superpowers, but she also has with that a journey of her own personal healing that came through all of this exploration. And so I want to talk to her about that. And I think really without further ado here, we will just jump straight to Barbara and say hello to Barbara Goldsmith. Hello, Barbara. How are you?
Hi, Karl. I'm doing great. Really excited to be with you today.
Look how fab you look with the red, and you got the paintings behind you, which I do want to talk about a little bit because that's all part of the story too. So, welcome. It's really nice to have you here with us, and I think that what I'd really like to do is just go ahead and kind of jump in, and let's start with we'll start with the astrology part of your personality and how you discovered that, and just a little bit about that journey and how you got to where you are with the astrology.
Thank you, Karl. Thanks for having me on your show today. I came to the astrology when I think I was about 17 or 18, and somebody read my chart for me. And I was absolutely astonished at how could that woman know so much about me when all she had was my date, time, and place of birth. And I had to find out more. I thought that's just phenomenal, really. And so that was the beginning of my quest into astrology that's really been lifelong.
Well, so that's really cool. So she read your chart, and now, so like, were there things when you're 17? I'm sure there was an awful lot of activity going on, and probably a lot of that inner stuff going on with you that there always is with teenagers. So, what did she stumble across that just kind of made you go, "Wow, that's so cool"?
Well, she completely got the relationship between myself and my parents, between myself and my mother, the dynamic with my father, that he was the nurturing parent, that my mother was the strict one and the more masculine parent. She got it right when I was going to meet the love of my life.
Oh, wow.
I did
Good on.
I did meet him exactly, and she was right about so many things afterwards. You know, at the time, she was just right about certain things that had happened in my childhood. You know, was I a musician? Did I play? And you know, it was just all spot on. So yeah.
Okay, and so then that really led you to want to study, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and really take up astrology and something that you were gonna. It just compelled you forward into that pursuit.
Yes, I mean, I was just always fascinated by the stars. I mean, they're so beautiful, aren't they? You look up at the moon, you look at the stars. It's like, what's all that about? And how are we connected to all that up there?
Right.
And what are the cycles? And, you know, why is it during a full moon that there are more police on duty? Because there are more murders and there are more accidents. Yes, I mean, these
Yeah.
are all provable statistics. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, I went to night school. I found a night class with a wonderful Sagittarian teacher who was hilarious. I mean, Sagittarius is one of the funny signs of the zodiac. And, you know, we cracked up laughing. I had stomach pains literally coming out of those classes. So
Right.
it was great.
Yeah.
And that sparked it further.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah, you touched on it. So, because it is an interesting and a curious thing. Let's just talk about. I mean, we know that the movement of the moon and other celestial bodies affect things like the tides on the earth, etc. And we're 70% water, so we should be affected, also. But just a little bit about how that happens, how that's possible, and how that works, how you figure those things out.
Well, that's a big question, Karl. I guess an answer I could give you would be, for example, we've been under the influence of what has been known as the cardinal climax for quite some years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been this square going on between Pluto and Uranus. And Pluto is the planet of control, of power, of corporations, of structures. And Uranus is all about freedom and breaking free and new things. It's about the people. And so what we've been seeing is gradual erosion of certain structures. In 2008, for example, we had the global economic crisis,
Mm-hmm.
smack bang at the time of this whole cardinal climax.
Right.
And so we use astrology really as a clock. It's a wonderful timer of showing us the kinds of events, the kinds of things that could be coming up, because we can look backwards with astrology and say, hey, look, these were the kinds of things that happened during
Right.
those configurations.
Yeah.
And now we can look forwards. For example, in May of 2018, we're going to start to have Uranus, the planet of awakening, goes into Taurus. And Taurus is everything to do with the economy, farming, agriculture, food, banks,
Right.
our whole systems. I mean, it's teetering on the edge right now. I think many would agree.
Right.
But when Uranus goes into Taurus for those years between 2018 and 2025, I think we're going to see a whole shakeup, for example, of our economy, our banks, how we farm, how we grow food,
Mm-hmm.
how we exchange money, digital economies, taxation reform, pension reform, you name it, everything. I think that by the time Uranus finishes its transit in Taurus, everything connected with our economy and how we exchange services and goods is going to be completely transformed.
Wow. Well, that's sort of a big thing to keep an eye out for and be watching
You
for. And
asked.
yeah, yeah, and it'll be a process, and it'll be an unfolding over time. I'm sure, and things will transform. And tell us a little bit, because that's like a really cool kind of long-term process. Tell us just a little bit about yesterday and the eclipse and just what kinds of things maybe would be activated or sort of brought to awareness during a solar eclipse, and maybe then this one specifically.
Yes, well, this latest solar eclipse was at 9 degrees of Virgo yesterday. And of course, you're a Virgo as well, I do believe, Karl, aren't
Yep,
you?
I am indeed.
And yes, and a solar eclipse is, eclipses bring change.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the moon is the fastest moving planet. It changes sign every 2.5 days approximately. So it's always changing. And it affects our emotional state.
Right. Yeah.
When the eclipses come, this brings usually bigger changes, more emotions. At the time of yesterday's eclipse, we were under a T-square, so there's a lot of changing energy. People feeling as though perhaps that one day their emotions, they're just going through so many different emotions in 1 hour, never mind in a week. And the advantage is that we've got so many mutable energies right now at the time of these eclipses. We've got another eclipse coming up on September the 16th. That's going to be in Pisces. That's a lunar eclipse. And it's an opportunity usually to make some very big changes in your life, to have some realizations.
Right.
To set a new course for yourself. Mm-hmm. With it being in Virgo and Pisces, we're looking at Virgo, which is all about dissecting things, the details of which you're very good at, and Pisces, which is all about the bigger picture, the spiritual side. Virgo, the practical, living on this earth, earning a living, earning money, being realistic, and Pisces saying, oh, we've got to get out of this. Let's just look at those stars. Let's just float along the water. Let's be peaceful. Let's know that we're all one. So Virgo dissects and Pisces puts it together. So we're under this influence, and these two signs are very much about service. How can we help one another? Looking out for one another. Yeah. And Pisces coming up is going to be about gentleness, finding the gentle solution. There's a square with Mars coming up. So often with moon events, sometimes emotions flare. Could be like, you pushed in front of me in the queue. Sorry, you call it the line. Yeah. Yeah. And this kind of like, yes, it's sudden. And to find the peaceful way, the calm way.
Right.
Using music, using art, using anything, nature. These are all ways of coming into that more centered energy to deal with these phenomenal changes that really are hitting us.
Well, shoot, is it too late to turn in my Virgo card for a Pisces card? That sounds really good.
Well, Pisces is expecting you somewhere.
So now you mentioned something too that is coming up as well with Jupiter,
yes.
And
yes.
That sounds actually kind of fun too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, on September the 10th, we've got Jupiter changing sign. It's been in Virgo, your sign, for the last year. And now it's going to move into Libra, where it will stay until October the 10th of 2017. And whenever Jupiter is in a particular sign, it affects, like, for example, you'll notice it with children in school. There's often a certain year where the teachers will say, when Jupiter's in Gemini, for example, they're a really chatty lot. They don't stop talking. They're very chatty. They ask all questions. Or Jupiter may be in Cancer, and it's a very emotional type of class, yeah? And they need lots of creative. And you get a certain flavor of people born, because there's a whole year with a Jupiter influence. So Jupiter in Libra now is very much going to be about relationships. You're going to hear, I think, during this next year, everything to do with healing relationships, how we treat one another, how you bring yourself into the picture, and at the same time consider the other person in your life. How we can, I think that we'll see lots to do with war and peace. How can we bring peace in our world? And Jupiter magnifies whatever it touches. So it can touch something and flare up something that may not be quite so pleasant. So it could also flare up everything to do with divorce law, everything to do with gay relationships, everything to do with how we accept one another. How, you know, all this racism, all these walls coming up, what we're seeing in the things that we're seeing in politics. I think we'll see a lot of that coming more magnified, and yet at the same time there'll be a real peace movement. You'll see a stronger movement for people wanting to have more sanity on our planet and use Jupiter, because Jupiter is the planet of wisdom, but it's all the planet of good fortune. So we can, I feel, really transform our relationships very positively on the personal level and the global level during this transit.
Right. So now, the great thing about having this information, you know, and just about how there's this movement and things are unfolding in certain ways, it really does create an opportunity for focus of attention during a specific time. And maybe then I guess this is turning into a question now. Is it a good thing? Is it a positive thing as these doors of opportunity are opening to, you know, focus intentions, maybe, you know, write some things down or something and just focus some intention during those times for your own personal transformation, or even, you know, if you're just putting out, you know, energy for a collective shift, you know, you put that energy out there too, and you can work on different things during these different times, you know, as opportunities arise.
Yes, I mean, that's one of the great purposes of astrology. Great question. Thank you, Karl, for the lead-in.
You're welcome.
Because that's the wonderful thing about astrology is you can look at your own chart and see where, for example, are the eclipses happening in your chart? Are they happening in your house of career and home and family? Might you be moving? Are they happening in your money houses? Do you need to look at your self-esteem? You know, so you would look at that. You might look as well where Jupiter is coming up. So you can look on a personal level and really, as you say, set some intentions personally. And then as we come together, because we're coming into, by 2020, 2021, a massive shift into air signs, into air. And of course, the air is the unseen. We've been dealing with earth and matter, the Industrial Revolution, fossil fuels, fracking, hurting our earth, all the things that we've been doing heavily on our earth, and all the vertical structures are now going to transform from what we're seeing astrologically into horizontal direction. We're seeing it with the internet, how we can connect with one another. Remote healing is going to become huge over these years. We're going to see that we're going to be able to do things over the invisible airwaves and really bring a more equitable structure of our whole world. It's no longer this vertical, but it's reaching out to one another.
Right.
That's what's coming. Just a little preview there.
That's actually exciting and really awesome. You know, just we're kind of doing a little bit of that right now with the internet and with things like Skype. Like, you know, for example, you know, I'm reaching out to you right now, and we're reaching out to people with this interview, and it's because you're in Greece, you know, and I'm in Los Angeles, and this is going to people all over the planet. And it's just, it's really cool to see, you know, how things are unfolding, and just a way that we are already starting to push out the boundaries and take advantage of different ways of connecting.
Yes, and the air. May I add something else? I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, Carl. I could talk about this for hours. I'm so passionate about astrology. But the air signs rule mental activity. They're everything to do with the mind, and we're going to find that we've got so much power with our thinking, and as more of us come together in various positive settings, we're going to be able to transform the potentials of our future, if you like. We can set not only, and what was very slow moving on the earth level, you know how it is, it's slow. You've got to drive somewhere, you've got to take a plane, but now we're talking about, you know, it's airwaves, it's fast. And we can make very fast transformations as many of us can come together in these kinds of settings. Set our mental intentions, and the sky's your limit, really, for healing, for creativity. I mean, blow your mind.
Oh, that's exciting, you know. I mean, moving into something a little bit less dense, a little bit less of a slog, and you know, because we do think quickly, and it does take a while for it to catch up in 3D terms, and so that'll be fun to have it come a little bit faster. I'm excited for that.
It will, and we need to change our thinking as well to adapt.
Right.
Because it's been since 1801 that we've had this type of very heavy Earth energy with Jupiter and Saturn in Earth signs together, and now they're moving into air signs until 2159. So we've got and it really starts in 2021. So we're just in the build up to it. And Jupiter in Libra is now a taster of it. Coming up next week.
That is exciting. And so we have a couple other things I want to touch on with you today. So I want to move a little bit. But if people wanted to know more, just in terms of astrology and that aspect of you, you have a couple of books that you've written that are on your website,
Yes.
And they are all astrology based, is that right?
Yes, I always have a financial book which I wrote around the time of the financial crisis when we had the Uranus-Pluto square that I was talking about as well.
Right.
So
yeah. Okay. So and then people can just find those on your website if they if they go to your website. Okay. And then we'll post that on streamingforthesoul.com and we'll link to that so that people can find those things. So now I would love to, you said something, you mentioned something, and it just made me think, because you talked about how transformations will move a little more quickly, and it just reminded me that you've kind of had your own fairly quick transformation happen, because you were going through a period of less than ideal physical conditions for yourself, and you've really moved out of that. Yes,
I feel as though I've been very fortunate, extremely fortunate. It's almost miraculous looking back at the last 9, 10, 12, 11 months. Yeah.
And part of that transformation for you was, you just reached a point where you just wanted relief, and you discovered Summer Bacon, who we talked about, or we interviewed last week on Superpowers. And for people who are watching right now, if you didn't get a chance to see the show with Summer, it's awesome. So you should check it out. But so Barbara found Summer, and so what did you do when you found Summer?
Well, all I can say is thank God for Summer, because Summer was just really my lifeline.
Yeah.
And I can't recommend Summer highly enough, quite honestly. She's genuine, she's honest, she's sincere. She's a wonderful channel, because initially I had a session with her and Dr. Peebles when I had reached a desperation point in my life. And that opened a door of light. I could see some light at the end of what looked like just darkness. And that started the process for me, thanks to Summer. And then I signed up for some trance coaching sessions with Summer, which was just amazing. I mean, she just has a unique way of bringing out the very best in each person. And she certainly did that with me in the very first session.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about that a little bit. So, because this was something that Summer talked about in her interview, and she does teach the channeling, and she is a coach for that. And she's got a great book. I think you enjoyed it, with her little book of channeling.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and we linked
Fabulous.
to that too on streamingforthesoul.com. So you can find that
Right.
by going to Superpowers on. In the menu on streamingforthesoul.com, you can get hold of Summer's book. But so that was a good tool for you. But something pretty remarkable happened for you when you started this channeling training with Summer.
Yes. I mean, it was never anything I had ever thought of doing, and it was never anything I had been particularly drawn to. I mean, I had followed certainly the likes of Esther Hicks and Abraham and a little bit of Cryon and, various people. I thought some of the information that came through was fantastic,
right?
But it was never, ever anything that I thought I would do myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just curious. And so the first session with Summer, I had read her book, I think about 10 times before that session. I was just, I was riveted. It was fascinating. I mean, it's really worth reading that book. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And so she took me through this first session, and my assignment was just to bring through the energy of love, light, inspiration, and truth. And then just to go into trance and to practice this trance every day.
Right.
And just to work on it. And in her book, it was really clear that this doesn't usually happen, maybe for months, even years, really, for something to happen. And day one, I started to go into trance. It was like I didn't have Summer. I was just that first day. And part of it is releasing your breath. And I just felt something else, something taking over my breath for me. It was like surrendering, because that's what all you really do in channeling is it's very much about surrendering and releasing and allowing.
Right.
For something to come through that you're not familiar with. And I think a lot of us are just frightened of that. And it was frightening. It was like, goodness, can I take my own breath now? And of course I could. Yes, there's nothing controlling me. Mm-hmm. It's not like something controls you, but it was just this most wonderful feeling of something else, like another intelligence doing it for me. And really that's what's happening anyway, in a different level. Your heart, how is your heart beating? There's so many functions that are happening in our body.
True.
That we're not in control of. So this was just another step when I look back on it in retrograde. But Mercury is retrograde. Sorry.
To be astrological about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they took over my breath, and then I could feel them also, which, thank God for that book of Summers. She said, then you can release your vocal cords and your neck and ask for Spirit just to come through you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And my teeth started to chatter, all kinds of things going on. And I honestly, and this is day one.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just beside myself because I didn't know what to do, whether to be frightened or not frightened. And it felt wonderful. Deep down, I knew that this was something special.
Right. Yeah.
And I even filmed myself, doing all these funny things. And I emailed Summer, hoping that, I said, can I pay you just to help me through this? It seems to be all happening very quickly.
Right.
And she wrote me the most wonderful email back, and I can't thank her enough for that. She wrote back saying that this is a very private, personal journey. And it's really important that you experience this for yourself. We will connect in the next session together, which was about 3 weeks off. And I thought, 3 weeks I've got to go through this. But okay. And she put it all back on me. So I really had to have my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best thing she could have given me.
Yeah.
Because it set me really finding out for myself and not depending on anybody else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that then, and what has developed, and specifically that you began connecting with the Pleiadians.
Yes. Well, the Pleiadians came through quite early on. It was only very early, and they just said, you know, we are the Pleiadians. Sort of came through very strange.
Wow.
And it was just very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And what was weird as well is I wasn't very well. You know, I had a lot of physical issues. So
Mm-hmm.
things with my neck, my shoulder, I couldn't walk. I had a cane. I walked with a cane because of my knee for the last couple of years,
Right.
on and off. And so they used to put me on the floor flat on my tummy and come through the back of my spine here. It was the only position in which they would come through initially.
Yeah.
Gradually, they've been working with my physical body. And when I say they working, what I mean is it's about surrendering and allowing this intelligence to show you. And you invite it. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Some has shown me so much. I can't thank her enough for this. But it was just inviting the intelligence, and it's the love, the light. It's all these wonderful energies. There's nothing to be frightened about.
Right.
And what's for my highest good.
Mm-hmm.
And take over my frequency. Do what you need to do with it.
Right. Yeah.
And so gradually, yes, the Pleiadians came through, and they've worked with my physical body. I don't need the cane anymore. All the physical ailments have disappeared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
I think
very-
that's a particularly beautiful part of your journey, and moving in this direction of the channeling, is how you have not only, you know, connected with you know, just another consciousness, really, that is certainly a very loving and benevolent consciousness, but you've had you know, great side effects as well with the healing of your body, and you know, and just getting kind of put back on track.
Yes, getting in alignment, because they did say very early on, we can't come through you clearly until your physical body is aligned.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also like to give amazing credit to Bev Scott, wonderful healer in Sedona, great friend of Sir Summers.
Right.
And Bev, I've had a lot of remote healing from Bev, who has certainly helped me to really open up to this much more, and more quickly as well. So thank you, Bev.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perhaps we can post her details as well later. That would be great for
Okay.
people who might want to come to her too.
Sure. So now,
Yeah.
so what was, as it was, you know, kind of happening and unfolding, just tell me a little bit about, I mean, I know there were physical sensations, and I know it was a little bit weird, but just a little more, just kind of about that experience, because I think there probably are people, you know, out there in the audience that everybody's awakening on some level, and it's different, and you know, everyone's journey is a little bit different, and it's everyone's journey. It's what's right for them at this time, but it's always when these aha moments pop up and they get our attention, and you know, there's a lot of different ways to experience those kinds of things. I'm just curious, you know, how it felt for you.
It felt as though there is something now that I am certain of, that I am truly loved. I had always looked for love in a boyfriend, friends, relationships outside of me.
Right.
And now I have a true sense, and this was part, I think, of this awakening, that around us in the ethers that we cannot see, again, it's the air signs that we're coming into,
Mm-hmm.
is such benevolent energy, is such beautiful energies that's just waiting to come into us, if only we will open to it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If only we will say, I don't need to be in control of everything. And I think it took me breaking down to almost being, right at, I don't want to make it dramatic, but let's say almost at death's door, shall we
Mm-hmm.
say,
Right.
where I got to the point of saying, please, I'm ready, show me. I will release control. And I don't think it has to get to that desperation point for everybody, but I think it's about this releasing and saying, all right, I'm going to allow for something else. There must be something else out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's maybe our biggest challenge, don't you find? Don't you think? Is just that allowing for the idea and concept that we really don't have to be in control. We actually really even aren't in control. Even though we think we do, it's kind of funny, you think about that we're all, on this little rock that's, hurtling through space, and going through uncharted territory on a daily basis, and we're going, yep, I'm in control. It's really kind of a funny notion.
It's true. I mean, I think I can only speak for myself. I think I'm afraid of anything that's new,
mm-hmm.
that's shocking, that's outside of my normal paradigm.
Right. Yeah.
But I think many of us, or I speak for myself, I've lived with fears, tremendous fears all my life, frightened of just about everything. What could go wrong? I might get cancer. My parents have had cancer. It really is something. And I think many of us live with these fears.
Right.
And fear is the one thing that stops everything. It blocks everything.
Yeah. Right.
And just that breathing, I think the breathing was amazing. Releasing the breath is a real key. And meditation didn't help me, I must say. I tried meditating all my life, and it wasn't until the trance channeling for me.
Right.
And the releasing of the breath rather than the controlling of it, in and out and counting 10 and 20 and all those stuff, that never worked for me.
Yeah, right. Well, again, there's an element of control in that, isn't there? You're controlling the breath, and you do, okay, this one's coming in, and now this one's going out, and that's one.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
So, I'm in charge. I'm doing the breathing right now.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So I think that, if you are really wanting this, I would say to not be afraid of it, to be welcoming something, even if your brain says, oh, but all I've seen in my life and all I see around me is suffering and pain and all these, terrible things that's happening on our planet.
Right.
Be open to something else. Mm-hmm. Be open to seeing another perspective, as Summer would put it. Sorry, Dr. Peebles would put it. Right. Just be open to seeing something, possibly, that is really helpful, loving, energizing, joyful, uplifting, all the things that we want truly inside our hearts when you're a little child and you've got all the angels around you when you're really little. Yes, you're in touch with that domain, aren't you? You're joyful. You're not thinking and worrying about whether the weather's going to be bad tomorrow.
Nope, not.
And it's about getting in touch with that joyfulness, and that's what's come back. That's what creativity is about, getting in that enthusiastic, joyful place and knowing that that's possible. Just allowing in your brain a chink of possibility that maybe we could have a joyful, peaceful, creative, supportive world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful vision. Yeah.
And maybe there are beings out there that are really helping us and dying for us just to see that that's possible. Because as you know, when you believe something's possible, so it is for you, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. Well, and that is a true statement. There are beings of all dimensions out there, just they're a little bit like the sun, they're shining light, they're shining love, and you can stand in it and enjoy it, or you can, go stand in the shade. Kind of they leave it up to us whether or not we receive it, but it really is a constant flow, and in support of our journey and in support of our growth and transformation.
Yes.
So, Barbara, maybe
Karl, yes.
Our friends, the Pleiadians, would like to just say hello.
Oh, of course they would. They're dying to come and say hello. Yes.
They're going, hey, dude,
Are you ready?
What took you so long to get there, huh?
Are you ready for this?
I am very ready. And if you're
ready.
ready...
We are here, Karl. We are delighted to be with you today, Karl. Thrilled to bits to be with you. We love you very much, and you are doing a wonderful job here, bringing out all kinds of things from Barbara. She's very excited being with you here today. Yes, and we are thrilled. We're very excited. We're live. Live on air. That's exciting in itself, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It's very exciting, and it's wonderful having Barbara here and hearing her story. And I love that that you made a connection with Barbara when she was searching. Can you, for the sake of our audience, I know I've asked you this question, but I think they would love to know. Tell them a little bit about how it is that you and Barbara were actually able to connect, so that we can have this this live channeling with you right now.
Well, really, Barbara just was open to it. It was just an openness. She just said to us, or she said just out loud, really, many times, all right, come on in then. If you're out there, come. And we did. It's quite as simple as that.
That's how you were walking along the street, and she had her lemonade stand and was offering lemonade, and you said, great, we'll take some.
That's it. We came on in. We said, oh, we like this.
Yeah. So now tell me a little bit about what you experience, as beings that are not really physical. What's the experience like for you to participate in this process with Barbara?
Well, we find it very wonderful. Yes, for us, it's wonderful. We are being involved in what's happening on your planet, and we've been sitting here for ever such a long time waiting for the opportunity to come in. And you see, many of you now are coming onto this wavelength where we can get in and we can touch you and we can help. You see, but we needed you to ask. If you don't ask us, we cannot come. It's just not a possibility. And it's only those of you who are now awakening and asking and wanting, and here we come, we're coming. Try stopping us.
I see you a little bit like, it's fun. I see you a little bit like sort of big brothers standing on the, standing there at the ready, wanting to give a hand, but we have to kind of reach ours up and say, okay, I'm ready to have you help me walk across the street.
Yeah. That's all it really is. We are waiting. We're ready. We're right there with you. We're with you all the time, you see. It's not like we're not there one moment and here one next. We are here all the time. And all it is a matter of just opening up and saying, oh, come on.
Right.
You see, we love it. You can see we are so happy to be with you here today, Karl. We love you. You're a beautiful soul. You're doing wonderful work here on this planet. You're enabling other people to really come alive through the work you're doing, you see. You are really making 1 and 2 and 3 and hundreds come alive all at once. Light bulbs going on. That's what you're doing with your work. You're doing wonderful work, Karl. We love you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you very much. And
we love you very much.
So can you tell me then, I know that there's an awful lot going on. We've got a lot of different levels and different energies and that kind of thing happening on the planet, and everybody is sort of, everyone's at their own level. I think of it like a one-room schoolhouse here, and we've got kindergarten, and we've got people who are, getting their master's degrees and everything in between. What sorts of things, from your perspective, do you think that would be beneficial for people just to be aware of and to give attention to with their focus?
Well, focus on yourself. That's the first thing. Focus on yourself. Everybody's looking outside of themselves. They're looking at this and that and the other. And it's not outside of you. It's inside of you. It's the inside, not the outside, that needs the focus. And that's why people are doing all kinds of things. How can we be peaceful? How can we be quiet? But it is really when you get to the place that you recognize that all the outside things don't do anything. Yes, you can have money, you can have things and shops and houses and good knows, all kinds of things, but you see, those don't satisfy you. They don't. They're short-lived. But when you open up the inside of you, you open up Pandora's box of everything that there is. You see, everything that there is inside of you. And this is where the focus needs to come. It's not the outside. So that's what we would suggest as the first starting point, is to get with yourself and become loving to yourself. We had to tell Barbara in the beginning, love your body. Love your body. Look at yourself with love. Look in that mirror and stop looking at the bags under your eyes. Stop looking at the things that you don't like, the cellulite, all those things you don't like, but look at the things that you do love and begin to love it. In the morning now, when she wakes up, she kisses herself all over. Yes, you see? But that's wonderful to wake up with that kind of a joy. Yes, the kind of a joy that loves the physical body that you're in. Half of you are trying to get out of your physical bodies. Half of you are in them, but not really in them. But we are wanting you to get into these physical bodies. This is where you experience everything this lifetime. It's not about getting out of it. It's about going in deeper and feeling everything and really allowing the feelings to be felt deeply. And in that, you really recover yourself, the lost self, the lost souls. The lost soul is inside of you. And you begin to do it through that place of beginning to love self. And we're loving all of you now. We hope you can feel the love coming through the airwaves, because we're sending you masses of love is coming through as we speak now. You see, it's a loving energy. It's a loving vibration that we bring through. And all you need to do is just relax back and let it on in. You see, just close your eyes, relax back and let that love wash over you. And as that love washes over you, you begin to feel loving towards yourself and loving towards other people. It opens up the love, because that's really what everybody has been looking for, is loving. Just that feeling of love. But it starts with self. You have to start loving self. The more you love self, the more you can love others. Yeah, we know that goes against the grain for some of you. Oh, you don't like that. We know, we can feel it.
Well, you know what? I think people find it hard. I don't know why. It seems specific, to our journey here, but it seems that it's a lot easier to judge ourselves in a negative way than it is to look at ourselves through loving eyes and really embrace and love everything about who we are.
Yeah, and this is the thing, you see, we love you, only love you. We don't see anything negative, nothing at all, nada, nothing. And you are needing to, look at yourselves differently. And it begins just with teeny weeny things. It begins with looking at everything in your life and seeing how wonderful everything is. This is what happened for Barbara. She opened her eyes and realized that everything is beautiful, everything. Not just one thing here and there that you notice, but everything. Your toothbrush. Isn't your toothbrush wonderful? Yes? Where would you be without that toothbrush? Yes, you're right pain cleaning your teeth without that, huh? Yeah, you see? And all these little things to be come to appreciate everything in your life. Every single thing. And you become alive. You notice everything. You think, oh, yes. Oh, isn't this carpet lovely underneath my feet? Oh, doesn't it feel beautiful? Oh, isn't it nice that I've got a bathroom and a shower? Oh, that water feels good on my body. Oh, I love that feeling. Yes, and it's about noticing everything and not missing anything. Yes, it's about becoming young again. This is what youthful, you want the secret of youth, all you people with your potions and your lotions? Well, those things can do a little bit, but the secret of youth is joyfulness and feeling a love of self and body and all those things. And that's what we're bringing. That's the secret of your youth. You want to youth yourselves? That's what it's about. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, that is very consistent with though how we look at things, because we look toward the outside. We look for something on the outside that will transform us, versus recognizing the fact that we really truly are consciousness that is creating this form. And if we are in an unhappy state of consciousness, we are going to create something that continually brings us, unhappiness. It just is going to reflect what's.
We would like to address that. May we address this, please, Karl? This is an important point.
Yes.
Because Barbara went through great unhappiness as she was unfolding and opening. And we want to deal with that because many of you who are listening are feeling deep unhappiness or sadness or all these, shall we say, negative emotions, so to speak. And it's important to know that, yes, there are negative emotions that come and go, but they need to come and go and not be a part of you. And through the unfolding and opening of Barbara, we had to work on these emotions. Yes, she had many, many tears, many pains, many things through the months. And she kept asking for help. That's all. Asking us, please calm me, help me through this, help me through this. And each time she would just go lie down on her tummy and let us come through her back. We come through the back of the neck. You see, this is the place we get into you where you're very vulnerable here. We come through the back of the neck area, and that's the place where we come in most easily. Not to say you can't come in other places, but this is just an easy place for us to come in. And so, well, she asked us, and then time and again we would soothe her and stroke her and be gentle with her. So we're just going to suggest the same to those of you who are feeling those pains. And when they come up, just ask for the gentleness. Yeah. And we will soothe you. We will bring it through. And it's like layers of an onion. Gradually you will peel away those layers of the negative thoughts, the fears, the worries, the anger, the pains. And it really can be peeled away until you are really brand new again. So we just wanted to mention that. It may take a few months for that to unfold and not to be frightened, but to know that each time you go into it and you face those emotions, you become a more liberated. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
thank you. We're sorry to interrupt you there.
No. I'm really glad that you took the ball and ran with it there. So thank you.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, you did. Great.
We ran all right. Yeah.
Well, and part of a process for that is possibly because a lot of our anxiety, I think, we create when we are doing what a friend of mine, Ann Albers, says, which is we're living from the bottom up. And so we're living from, our lower chakras and looking for security in our lower chakras. And her suggestion is that we live from the top down and start, from, our top chakra and recognizing and acknowledging that we are, in fact, first and foremost, divine beings. And then, and then go from there versus thinking about, I don't have enough food, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough clothes, I don't, start with, I'm a divine being, and work that way.
Beautiful, beautiful. We love that. And that's beautiful. Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right. Yes. Knowing that you are really coming from God. You come from the vastness of everything, and then you live in this little nonentities. You live worrying about this, and he did that, and she did that, and we did that, and we went there. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
It's very true. I guess you've been watching our soap operas, haven't you?
Yeah, we just think it's just a little bit silly, really. We don't know why you keep doing it. You keep doing it round and round and round.
Well, and the truth is, because this physical reality, and this experience here is very convincing, and it does a really good job of camouflaging us from our greater being and the truth of who we really are. And so we actually believe those things, you know.
Yes,
we
yes,
believe
you
the
do.
illusion.
You do. Yeah. You're absolutely right, Karl. You do believe it. This is the crazy part of it. You absolutely believe it and you become it.
Yes.
You see, you actually absorb it and you cellularly become all this, you see.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the trick, and that's what it is that is a great thing for people in this process of, you know, just starting to love themselves. Also understand how, or at least begin to accept that they are actually so much larger and so much more magnificent than this tiny little body that we have here that's walking, you know, around.
Yes, well, wait a minute, Karl. We just want to stop you there one moment here.
Great.
Do you mind?
I don't mind at all. Go, go, go.
Yeah. Yeah, we are sorry to interrupt you, but this is rather important.
Yes.
We want you to refer to the tiny little body as being a magnificent being. Mm-hmm. Yes, because there's a tendency with you Earth people to really look at the body and go, ugh, ugh,
yeah,
ugh, ugh. But the body is sacred. The body is beautiful. And most of you have lost sight of that. Many of you have lost sight of it, and you're living without seeing the light of the body, because the body is where the light is coming through. Body is it's where you're at right now. You're in a physical body, and this physical body is so important. We can't stress this enough. We're going to be working with this with Barbara, with many over the years to come, because the physical body is what has to come alive. It is the physical body where you're going to experience everything. It's the physical body where you're going to ascend from. Yes, you're starting at this point. Yes, you're linking up both. Anne is absolutely right. But at the same time, this physical body and the cellular awakening comes within the body, and loving that body, looking at that body, no matter what age you are, no matter who you are, and loving it. You see a little baby, it loves everything about its body. It eats all sorts of things, doesn't it? Yes? Puts its finger in all kinds of things. We won't mention it, because you all know what it is. But, you know, it doesn't mind, yes? But you get older, it's like, yes? That's not, that's this, yes? But we're going to talk plain with you here. We're going to talk plain and say the body is a tremendous piece of beautiful, beautiful God. It's God. You are the expression of God in this body. And you're not really loving God if you're not loving your body. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So nice. It's tremendously important. We want to just bring this into balance, because it's gotten out of balance. It really has. Thank you, Karl, for letting us chip in again and take the ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? What do they say? 100% of shots not taken don't go in. So it's good that good you grab the ball and shoot. So.
Ooh, like that. We're shooting balls all over. We bring lots of joy, you know. Lots of joy. You can have a good, jolly good laugh with us, you know.
Yes. Well, we are getting very close to our wrap-up time here, and I know. Would you have anything else that you would just like to say? I mean, already what you've said, I think, is so valuable for people to just take and really take seriously and begin to employ in their lives and their daily practice. Any other things, observations that you'd like to give to us before we have to say goodbye?
We'd like to tell you that everything is all right. For everybody to know everything is all right. Just keep that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Everything is all right.
Wonderful.
That's it, Karl. We love and leave you. We love you very, very much. We know you need to go, so we respect that. And we love you. And we love everybody out there, and we thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And we hope that we've been of some help and service to you today. We love you all.
Well, and we would love to connect with you again. You know.
Oh yes, please. Oh please. We'd love questions. If people have got questions, we love questions. We don't like it when we get to the end of the questions. We're very disappointed.
Well, maybe we'll do something where we invite people to go ahead and send us some
Oh, good.
questions, and
Oh, good, good, good. Yes, yes.
yeah, we'll ring you up and we'll get some answers to the questions then.
Lovely. We'll shoot a few more balls at you.
Okay, great.
We love you. We love you, Karl. We're bringing Barbara back now.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Well, that was fun, and that was very like how they were the other day too. I mean, they just come in with just such a sense of fun and such a sense of joy, you know. And then definitely some nice wisdom too from their perspective on, you know, what we do and how we might refine that a little bit and create a bit more enjoyable experience for ourselves here. So anyway, that was pretty awesome. Thank you for doing that for us and giving people a chance just to, you know, experience the Pleiadians, and also just this new connection that you've been experiencing, you know, just by having put focus on it and putting out an invitation.
Thank you. Thank you, Karl, for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was great fun. You asked all good questions, didn't you?
That I don't know, but I hope they were good, and I hope it, you know, people got a little bit more of a, you know, just some insight into you and astrology, and then also the channeling and the process and all that. I mean, it was fun journey today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Karl. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us, Barbara. And I'd love to do this again too. I was saying to the P's that because they were talking about how they love questions, and they kind of are sad when they get to the end of questions. That, you know, maybe what we'll do is we'll invite questions from people for the Pleiadians, and then we'll ring you up and we'll, you know, answer some questions. So if you would be game for that, maybe that's something we can put on the docket.
Sure, I'm game. We're game.
All right, we're game. Good. All right, wonderful. Well, bless your heart, Barbara. Thank you for being here with us, and we'll just look forward to the next time.
Thank you very much, Karl. Thank you.
And that is Barbara Goldsmith, and what a journey she has had. You know, everything from, you know, just kind of the initial openings that she had going through with the her astrology and her astrology studies, to really kind of creating, I think, an opportunity then for this new chapter, which is the channeling and the connection with the Pleiadians, which has just been, you know, for her, it's been quite healing, and it's just also very exciting. And I think, you know, more than anything, what she said when she was talking about what that really brought her to as an awareness is that she doesn't have to look outside for love. She doesn't have to find it anywhere else. She is loved. She already is loved. And I think that's pretty wonderful. So thank you for being here with us. I just want to remind you again that if you are interested, it is possible until September 15th to get our IONS VODs at 50% off. And they are really, they are wonderful VODs, and, you know, a lot of this sort of information, you know, one of the things that the Pleiadians mentioned was that they were saying how they would just like everyone to know that that everything is perfect, that everything is okay, that you're all right. And this is one of the messages that, for example, Anita Morjani brings through when she was talking about her near-death experience, and she's saying how as she was in that place of unconditional love and reflecting on her life and who she had been, she said she couldn't help but marvel at how perfect everything had been, everything in her life. And I just think that's important for us to remember, because we're really good at being judgmental, and we're really good at judging ourselves, and we're not so good at loving ourselves, and realizing that while we may do something, we may engage in something that then we judge as bad, from that larger perspective, you know, that it turns out that there is perfection in everything in the way that it unfolds. So good to remember. carry that with you. Also, if you're interested, we do have more than the IONS VODs. So we've got a great video library, and it's growing all the time. And you can find that at streamingforthesoul.com. Just sign in and then click on the Browse VODs button in the main menu. And like I said, we've got energy workers, and we've got healers, and we've got, original series. We've got 7 wonderful series with Ann Albers, and it's called Ann and the Angels. And those are great series for taking you step by step through different processes, similar to what then Summer has done with Barbara. It's journeys of self-discovery and learning to love yourself. And so I highly recommend those. And anything else, go browse and see what you can find. And also all the superpowers are there too. You can find those and revisit any of those. So thank you for being here. And thank you for joining us for another Superpowers. And as I like to say, go out there and experience the extraordinary. And don't forget that it's not just out there. The extraordinary is also within you. So remember to experience the extraordinary within and about yourself. And we'll see you next time.